evening, Ms. Brown. And, and Mr. Brown, thank you all so much for hopping on this training that's going to be taking place this evening. We are the money team, and we believe that note takers are money makers. That's one of the mantras around here. And also, we have the juice joining us in creating excitement around personal financial success. So we have our mentor slash our friend, Mr. Brown, who I met, as a matter of fact, about, has it been at least 3 months ago, Mr. Brown? 2.5, 3 months ago?
About
And
that.
okay. And he was on a call that I actually was kind of sort of visiting this member's team, his group presentation, and Mr. Brown was at I guess you can say, a prospecting dinner. And he actually was talking from the restaurant that night about the excitement of this opportunity that we have. And he actually enrolled 2 new business partners that night. So it was exciting to hear someone who had a strategy, who had a plan to help not just anybody, but I think his thing is helping young people, because he said, don't believe the hype. He said, yes, believe the hype, helping young people excel. So without further ado, I would like to introduce the young man who is really hyped about this business that's called My Econ, and helping people to income shift money back into their home. So without further ado, I would like to introduce my personal sponsor slash mentor, Mr. Wayne Brown Jr. Thank you so much, Mr. Brown, for having me to introduce you.
Certainly. It's always a pleasure to be with everyone here when we do our team meetings. So I turn my camera on just so you'll see that we are real people, that we are here and have your best interests at heart. So as Ms. Patricia stated, my name is Mr. Wayne Brown. I am one of the leaders here in My Econ Incorporated, and I am the founder of the TMT team themselves. We are indeed the money team. So if you're looking to supplement your income, if you're looking to repair your credit, if you're looking to start building investments, then you are indeed in the right spot. All right, so with that, excuse me for that, I had to get my background noise situated. So with that being said, on tonight, we're going to do a training which will explain exactly how to educate people on shifting income back into their households. A lot of people believe that they have an income problem, and that's proven when we hear people say things like, hey girl, I do hair on the side, I gotta make ends meet. Hey, I'm tired of living paycheck to paycheck, I just got me a part-time job. Hey, I'm doing overtime on my job because I mean they take so much money out of me for taxes, I gotta supplement my income somehow. But the problem is, even though these folks have extra subsidiary incomes, they still find themselves living paycheck to paycheck. So on tonight, everyone that's listening and watching in on this call will be equipped to educate, to teach, and also put people in position to become income shifters. So first and foremost, we're going to be speaking of the W-4 calculator. The W-4 calculator can be found on the IRS.gov website. This is for us associates. Do not leak this publicly, because if you take this information and you make it public without those folks having an income shifting or elite business membership, then they're going to feel like, hey, I can do this myself. I don't need them. I don't need to pay for a membership. and what have you, which is false because if they don't have a qualified business, then they're only going to hurt themselves down the road because they're going to have to pay all this money back to the federal for federal taxes. So we want to protect people. All right. So the W-4 calculator, number one, protects against having too little tax withheld and facing an unexpected tax bill or even a penalty at the tax time next year. So this is why we want to make this very clear. Every average refund is about $3,000 per tax season per individual. You may prefer to have less tax withheld upfront and receive more in your paycheck, which is what my econ represents. So for you, Ms. Brown, if you don't know what my econ stands for, my econ stands for my economy. So anytime you hear us say my econ, it's a team thing that we do. We always put our right hand across our left chest and we personalize this thing because we understand that we have our own individual economies and we should not be affected by the economy of the United States. So we do have a couple of disclaimers before I move forward. My econ does not guarantee that you will receive an increase in your check by adjusting your W-4. Everybody's situation is different. Some people may see an increase of $50. Some people may see an increase of $800. It all depends on, your financial situation as far as the amount of taxes that came out of your pay on your job. If you're working full time, part time, it's a lot of different factors there. The results will vary based on each individual's unique financial situation. Those are our disclaimers. So, on tonight, we're going to be speaking of the Johnson's family. This is phenomenal. You're going to be able to get a hands on and be able to see literally how income shifting works indeed. So, the family status here is the Johnsons are filing married and jointly. They have $105,000 in household income. The husband makes $50,000. The wife makes $55,000. And they have two dependents, a 7-year-old child and a 10-year-old child. And they also have child care expenses that accumulates up to $6,500 per year. On the left, you see Mr. Robert Johnson's pay stub. On the right, you see Ms. Kim Johnson's pay stub. All right. So when you go to shift your income, if you do have a W-4 income, then you would follow this step by step in order to see the numbers change for you. All right. So it's more beneficial for you. As you can see, our system is straight from the IRS's website. So your tax withholding calculator can indeed be found at irs.gov. You simply type the W-4 calculator in the search bar. You click on search, then you click withholding estimator, internal revenue services, which should be the second one there on your list once you Google the W-4 calculator. Once you get there, you will see the page that looks like this directly from the IRS's website, where you review your tax withholdings the estimator page. You read the recent tax laws. If there's any changes, all of that will be displayed right there under this section. We always encourage you to read before you begin. So if there's any changes or anything that you need to be made aware of, then you already can do that on the onset of getting started. Then you click on, at the very bottom, use the tax withholding estimator. All right. Any questions thus far?
Nope, following along.
All right. So now the tax withholding estimator, the page actually looks like this once we get inside of the estimator themselves. All right. So this is the about you section. Once you do this for yourself, it's going to be the same exact identical format. All right. We're just using an illustration of the Johnson's family so that you can know where to put certain information when you do this for yourself, as well as your new business partners, your friends, your family members. You want to help them. So listen, ask them this. If $99.95 investment one time that's 100% tax deductible, and then $54.95 per month thereafter could guarantee you to get anywhere from $200 to $500 back into your household every single month, would you make that investment? 99.9% of the people is going to say, how does this work? Tonight, you're going to get the how does this work part so you know how to answer them. So you don't want to show them just yet until after you get them a membership, because they're going to then say, well, I'll just pay you to do this for me. I don't need a membership because I don't want to pay every month for this. All right. So this is just something that I just want to make you aware of that you may come across when you're assisting people in their correcting the W-4. So the Johnson status is here, married, filing jointly. So if you look at section 105, the filing status, simply click married, filing jointly. No one else can claim the Johnsons as a dependent on their tax return. So the second part of question 1 will be no. The Johnsons will be claiming their 2 children. So yes to question 2. As they're dependent on their tax return. Both Mr. and Mrs. Johnson will hold a job with federal income taxes to be withheld. So where it says here, how many dependents do they anticipate claiming on their tax return? It would be 2. As far as the income, yes, both of them was looking to hold their job for the rest of the year at least. All right. So under that, one for the top one for the husband, the bottom one for the wife, or vice versa. It doesn't matter which one you put in first. If you do have a prospect that's filing jointly with their spouse and you're sitting down helping with them, it doesn't matter who you do first. All right, because all this information is going to be together at the end. So both expect to hold their 1 job each. The Johnsons do not receive a pension. So 4 or 5, you're going to put no. If I'm moving too fast, you can let me know, but I'm trying to make sure we get through this in a timely fashion. Question,
Going good.
Miss Brown?
Nope, everything's going good.
All right, perfect. The Johnsons do not have any other sources of income and tax payments. So this section 505, we just leave that blank. The Johnsons do not fit any of the demographics that's listed below. Neither one of them is above 65 years of age or older as of January 1st, 2022. The spouse does not fit the demographic. Neither one of them are blind. All right. So that would be blank as well. Just leave that there. But it just so happened, let's say that you had someone that had suffered from a disability and there was blind or something of the sort. And it was asked there that you would want to answer that honestly for that person. So then we find the income and withholding section, which is the income and withholding for each job that you earn income from in this year. So Mr. Johnson plans to hold his job the entire year. So we want to put yes. Mr. Johnson is paid twice monthly. So there's a drop down section there to indicate when this client gets paid. So we're going to click on twice monthly, and that's going to go there. Mr. Johnson's most recent pay period ended on 2/19/2021. So on the last part of the question, we're going to indicate the date, the month, the day, as well as the full year as to when his last pay period was. Then it takes us to a section as far as this is still the income, I'm sorry. So Mr. Johnson earns $50,000 per year. So we're going to put that his wages is expected to be $50,000 this year. Mr. Johnson does not expect any bonuses. So we're going to leave that blank. Year to date, Mr. Johnson has paid $524 in federal taxes. So where it says year to date, we're going to put the year to date in federal income taxes that's been withheld from Mr. Johnson's pay. All right. From the last check, Mr. Johnson has paid $131 in federal taxes. So where it says per pay period, we're going to put the $131 that was coming out of Mr. Johnson's pay per pay period. And Mr. Johnson does not contribute to a 401k or a cafeteria plan at this time. All right. So this is very, 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 very important that we see this part that Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, even some of us ourselves, may not have a 401k, may not have an IRA, a mutual fund, options, stocks, bonds, or any other vehicles that will kind of bring us some dividends or capital gains at its return. For us, not having to work for our money, but allowing our money to work for us. So Miss Johnson, the same thing goes on that we did for Mr. Johnson. We now got to do it for Miss Johnson. So Mrs. Johnson expects to have her job for the whole year. She gets paid also twice monthly. Her last pay was on 2/19/2021 as well. She makes $55,000 expected for the year. And she does not expect any bonuses. The year to date for Miss Johnson has been $624. From her last check, Miss Johnson has paid $156. Miss Johnson does not contribute to a 401k or a cafeteria plan. All right. So then we will simply click next. And it takes us to the adjustment section. Hello, welcome. Who do we have joining us on tonight?
It's Patty from Baltimore.
Hey, Miss Patty, how are you?
Great. How are you? Sorry, I just got the message.
All right, certainly. You are fine. All right.
Thank you.
All right. So then there's another section here called the adjustment section. A lot of people do not realize that they can make adjustments to their income legally. Some people know that they can, but they don't know how. So our position is to teach them the financial literacy so that they understand that this is legal, that you can do this as well if you put yourself in the right position to do so, so that you will not owe federal income tax at the end of the year. That is the ultimate goal. So the adjustments to the income are adjustments that will have a significant impact to your tax obligation. The Johnson's family doesn't know, so they hopped into the C adjustments. Okay. So when they go down, they realize, okay, I don't have student loans, I don't have education expenses. All right. So all of that is going to be blank because the Johnson does not have any of these other expenses here or anything that they can make adjustments with. So the Johnsons do not have any health savings. They don't have any account deductions, moving expenses, alimonies, penalties for early withdrawal, or any business credit. So this whole adjustment section, unfortunately for the Johnsons at this time, would be blank. The Johnson's family does not have any adjustments to their income. Ladies and gentlemen, everyone, I need you to pay close attention to this. 99% of the people that we speak with, that we know, our moms, our dads, our uncles, our aunts, our brothers, our sisters, our cousins, people that we know, that we mingle with, they may qualify to make adjustments to their income, but if they have no adjustments today because they don't have a business, they don't have legal or qualified deductions to write off so they can adjust their taxable income. This is why they need you. Does that make sense, ladies and gentlemen?
So far, so good. Yes, I'm following along.
The deductions from income is indeed the next section. The Johnsons qualify for a standard deduction of $25,100. Notice what I said, that's the standard deduction. What you're going to find people, especially people that has businesses already outside of my econ, they're going to say things like this. Oh, my tax preparer, they take care of my taxes. Oh, well, I got a CPA that takes care of this. Oh, well, you know what? I itemize my deductions. I don't claim standard deductions. And sometimes that's just the way a person trying to test your knowledge. How much do you know? You know, if you just say, oh, okay, oh, that's fine. Well, you know what? Let them handle it then, we kind of failed the test. All right. Oftentimes when people challenge or say challenging things, they're trying to test to see how much knowledge do we have in the area. So that's how they determine if the information that we're sharing with them is indeed credible. All right. This is why our trainings is so, so, so important. So now you can be well versed when it comes to educating people with the tax withholding estimate that yes, this is an IRS approved thing. No, I know you didn't know this. Then you shift it back on them. If I was you, I would carry with me a 2021 W-4. It's only one thing I want you ladies to show and gentlemen to show when you're speaking with someone about adjusting their income or income shifted in our terminology. At the corner of your W-4 form, it says to complete Form W-4 so that your employer can withhold the correct number of income tax from your pay. Consider completing the new Form W-4 once each year or when your personal financial situation changes. So that means, number one, the government is not taking your money. That's one of the myths that the government want us to believe. The form says that it's the employer that's withholding the money from our taxes. If we filled it out incorrectly, the IRS stated that 80% of every working class American has overpaid taxes. That's proven if you get a tax refund. So what we're actually doing is giving the government an interest-free loan. They giving us our overpayment back 12 to 16 months later. We take that money, and if we fell behind time on some bills or what have you, we take our tax money and we catch up on those bills. So even if you got $10,000 back at tax time, but you was $8,000 in debt because you didn't have access to your cash flow, then guess what? You only in actuality collected $2,000. So why wait for your money when you could have it now? Then the next section is tax credits. We almost to the part where the magic happens. The tax withholding estimator have a section called tax credits. We can click here where it says see tax credits, or it says get my results without tax credits. I would encourage you to look at the tax credits. So the Johnsons have 2 children that are under 17. So the child and dependent related tax credit, they do qualify for. So if you clicked on get my results without tax credits, then if you have children that qualifies you for the child and dependent related tax credit, then you just, robbed yourself, so to speak. All right. So we don't want you to do that. We want you to put all of your money back into your pocket. We want you to eliminate your debt with that additional cash flow that you now have and build a business so that you can legally write off your lifestyle, your automobile, your rent, your mortgage, your interest on your car note, the car is portions of the car itself, mechanical bills, your internet, everything that you're already going to pay anyway. Now you're in position to educate people. Hey, you pay a phone bill anyway. Did you know that you can report that to your credit bureau and that can be used as a trade line? That's an angle to pique someone's interest, which is a fact. Another thing you could say, Did you know that there's opportunities out here where you can use your cell phone and make money? Everybody and their grandmothers looking for opportunities like that. It just depends on how we deliver the message. All right. So the Johnsons have the two children that's under the age of 17. So we're going to put that there. The Johnsons have two children that qualify for the child tax credit. So we're going to put that there. The number two on the second box as well. The Johnsons pay $6,500 in child care. So at the very top, when it speaks of dependent care expenses, we're going to put the amount that they had in child care. And if you can relate to this, this is the same thing that you would do for yourself as well, using your own personal pay stub from your employer. The Johnsons do not qualify for earned income tax credit. They make too much income to qualify for that. The Johnsons do not have foreign tax credit, education credit, retirement savings, or homeowners credit. So none of this other things apply to the Johnsons. The Johnsons do not qualify for elderly or disabled business alternative minimum taxes or energy efficient vehicle credits. None of these things they qualify for. All right. Now, this would be the results. Remind you, this is before we offer them the income shifting membership or the elite business membership. I would prefer or suggest that because you're in business to make money, you always lead in with the elite business membership. All right. So the results will show if you will owe at the end of the year or if you will get a refund at the end of the year. So the Johnsons, according to what we see on our screen, according to the information that we put into the tax withholding estimator, the Johnsons will have a tax obligation of $3,300. Well, yes, about $3,300. All right. The Johnsons will pay $6,800 in taxes, and they're overpaid about $2,800. This is before getting the elite business membership or a income shifting membership with you. Okay. Now, let's make some adjustments. Now that we know what their numbers are, we know that their estimated overpayment is $2,895. This is what they're expected to get as a refund. If they took this money, even though they don't have it physically in their hand, y'all, if they took this money by using this calculator, this is the estimated return. Now they go back and they put that $2,895 inside of a 401k, and they're going to contribute the whole tax return to the 401k. So all they would do, or all you would do, would click on the income and withholding link, and Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, or even yourself, changes the answer and contribute the $2,895, or in your terms, whatever the estimated refund would be. You could also use this strategy and do the same thing for yourself. All right. The Johnsons learn about the advantages of a home-based business. All right. Our people that we're speaking with, that we're educating using this information, will also learn about the rules of having a home-based business. One thing you'll hear me say a lot: the government penalizes job takers and they award job makers. Remember that. The government penalizes job takers and they reward job makers. So on tonight, I hope that every single person has made the decision to become a job maker. That means, in layman terms, to become a business owner. And everyone that's with me on tonight has already made that first step. that is so exciting. The Johnsons clicked on the adjustments to income link. The Johnsons estimated that they'll have $5,000 in Schedule C business income. When you go to shift your income as well, that is the magic number. Right where it says certain business credits, you're going to put $5,000. All right. Now, that's an expected estimation of what you believe you're going to accumulate in expenses in lieu of business over the course of this year. Now, watch what this does. The Johnsons clicked on the result tab after making the changes to their 401k, contributions to and their adjustments to their income to see what changes, if any, had occurred. By contributing to their 401k and starting a home-based business, the Johnsons now have a tax obligation of $3,045. The Johnsons picked up an extra $948 by making only two changes. Two changes just put almost $1,000 back into the Johnsons household. Because the Johnsons learned how to income shift with two simple strategies, they improved their finances, not in one way, not in two ways, but in three ways. The Johnsons redirected their tax overpayment into a 401k. Mr. and Mrs. Johnson's employer matched the 401k dollar for dollar. Investing into their 401k and starting a business lowered their taxes by another $948. So when you add all of that up, you just shifted $6,738 right back into your household. So without further ado, now is the time I'm going to open up for questions. Do anyone have any questions, any feedback, any comments? Now would be the time.
So when you're doing the introduction, sorry, Nanette speaking. When you're doing the introduction and you go to the IRS website, you're going to just search for the W-4 calculator tax withholding.
Yes, ma'am. So I can pull my screen back up. Give me 1 second. So it'll look like this. And simply, if you just go in, you just go on Google, put in tax withholding calculator. You'll find the tax withholding estimator right here. The same thing that I showed you in your video. You use it, it opens up. It's the same exact thing that I was just showing in the video.
Thank you. Perfect.
Yep, yep. The other cool part is, let me show you this as well. Once you complete it, find one that I did on my desktop. But once you complete it can also change your W-4 form for you. So all you got to do is print it out. And once you print it out, you hand it back to your employer. All right. So that they can make the necessary adjustments and you'll see the increase in your cash flow and your paycheck. All right, I hate when things don't work when you want it to. Here we go. All right, so for an example, this is one that was completed from one of our team members that gave us permission to use this when we're doing training. So after putting in all of their information, just like we did for the Johnsons, this was their results, okay? So you literally can just hit print and you can print this out for your own records. here is a bar which will show how much your overpayment is, which is $630. You can literally take this bar and drag it back to zero. It clearly says, want to adjust your results? Use the slider below to select the appropriate refund amount you'd like to get. So if you're expecting to get $630 in refund, as a refund, you drag it back to zero over the next, let's say that we got what we got left, 3 months of the year. So between now and December 31st, that $630 have to come back into your household. So if you get paid bi-weekly, that's about, what's that, 6 to 8 pays that you're looking at, that the $630 would be divided into. So it'd be 630, and then you would divide it, let's say, by 6 pays. So that'll put $105 back into your household per pay period for you. Does that make sense?
It does.
Awesome. Awesome. Any more questions?
You mentioned the income shift and the elite.
Yes,
What are
ma'am.
the prices on those?
All right. I'm glad you asked. The income shifting membership is indeed $39.95 one time. And then it is $39.95 per month thereafter, which can be found on your website. And you can click on join now and it'll give you the description. So with what I do that I find that works typically and very well, when you first prospecting a person and then the price come up, I always tell them $299.95 for the elite business membership and $99.95 for the income shifting membership. Can anyone tell me why that could be a good strategy?
Because when they look at it, they'll see it's cheaper and want to join.
Absolutely. So you close them at $299.95. We know that it's $99.95. Then you will say something like this. This is exactly why I love my econ. Before you made an investment, you just saved yourself and increased your cash flow by $200. They can say, huh? Remember, they just committed to $299.95, right? So if they only make an investment of $99.95 after you committed to $299.95, then we just saved you $200 in cash flow before you made an investment. Then what I do, I challenge people. Where can you do that? Where else can you do this at? Everyone says what? Nowhere. Exactly. By that time, I'm asking them for the correct spelling of their first name. I'm filling it out. They in the system, we immediately get them onboarded for training. Does that help you out, Miss Brown?
It does. Thank you.
Certainly, certainly. All right. Any more questions? Now is the time. There's no such thing as a bad question. Any feedback? Any comments?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
What's your average team would say your new memberships weekly?
Well, as a team or as individual people?
I would say as a whole, as a team, and then the individual.
All right. As a team, right now we're probably pushing about, I'd say anywhere from 3 to 5 on a bad week. Anywhere from 5 to 10, in a good week. And that's with most of the team being engaged, doing what's necessary for their success. Then you got some associate that does this in a day that's on our team. Go get 3 or 4 people a day with no problem. All right. And it's just the training, the teaching, the coaching, and the things that they've been able to learn, while they've been under this leadership in order to make that possible. And we want the very same thing for each and every last one of the associates that's under our leadership.
And how many team members are on TMT?
Currently, right now, I really lost count. But I know I'm well over 40 something personal associates. I know there's a few people, got 10 people under them, 2, 3 people under them. Got some people got 20, 30 people under them. So that number is not accurate till I view my reports.
Okay. So my next question, I'm sorry, I'm full of questions.
Oh, you're fine.
So-
You're perfectly fine.
So when I add someone, they come under me and then under you on top of it?
Well, how that works is this. I'm glad you asked. Let me close this out. And let me go to, do I got it saved on my desktop? I like this show. I'm sorry, but I like this show. Documentations to answer your questions, all right?
Appreciate it.
Come on and open. All right. All right. So this would be you, Miss Brown. When you came on board, you come in as an executive vice president. All right. What happens is when you personally sponsor someone, so let's say that you personally sponsor Susan, James, Mary, and Tony. All of these people is directly under you, okay? You're going to get the $56, the $76, the $28, the $48, depending on the membership that they chose. So I'm going to just speak of the number on the right side because we're currently under a promotion up until I believe that January, where we're getting an additional $20 commission for every single person that we sponsor that we're able to help either minimize their credit, build investment income, repair their credit, minimizing debt, doing the cash flow strategies for them, giving them a blueprint, a roadmap on their financial destination and their financial forecast. It's a host of different things that my econ has to offer. And this would make each one of our businesses unique because, one person's niche may be building, another person's niche may be product sales, another person's niche may be credit restoration, another person's niche may be the travel. So we have so much to offer. And what I've noticed is the people that's had the great levels of success focus on just a few of those things that we have to offer, and they solidify the market and take it by force. All right. So your sponsor is there for your support. All right. Our company, corporate, give your sponsor what is called a residual or Dream Team residual override for assisting you in you building a great and successful business. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. So when we talk about team building, we have generations. So I like to use the illustration of children. Not to say that I'm nobody's daddy. Don't take me wrong, but I like using this illustration. If you looked at yourself, if you have children, you got a mom, you got a dad, you got brothers and sisters, but you got sons and daughters. Once your sons and daughters begin to have children, most of the time, their child is not the one that gets the attention anymore. The grandchildren is the ones that gets the attention. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. So with our opportunity, you're the parent, you sponsor 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 20, 100 people. They all become your children. When they go out and start sponsoring people, their people, which goes to your second generation, becomes your grandchildren. When your grandchildren go out and sponsor people, guess what happens?
Great
They
grand.
become your great grandchildren, right?
Mhm.
So the whole time you're educating your children educating their children educating your great grandchildren, and by default, they all carry the family name of Brown, right?
Okay.
Now, because they carry your family name, shouldn't you're in there, you're in the lineage. So when it comes to our business, if we look at it in such a way, then yes, you should get paid an override for everything that your team has done. Wouldn't you agree, Ms. Brown?
I agree.
This is exactly what happens with your sponsor all the way up to myself as well. The deeper the levels, the smaller our commission is, but the more people, you really don't take a loss. So we'll do a training on the compensation. Actually, Miss Patricia and I is also working on some things that should be launched very, very soon. I say within the next 24 to 48 hours, under my a speculation of how it's developing as we speak. And there's training there, there's compensation. This actually is there in video form as well. All of this is also available inside of your back office under the document center. So you can, take your time, go through it, understand it. If you have questions, reach out to Miss Patricia. If she can't get your question answered, then she would definitely know how to get in touch with me. She can share my personal contact information with you if that's what you feel could be necessary to give you, that extra support that you may feel that you need, on this journey in creating wealth for yourself.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Certainly. All right. Any more questions? All right. I don't want to leave anyone out. Any more questions, comments, feedback? Mr. Kenny, I see you down there. Is that you, Mr. Kenny?
No, it's actually Tony.
All right.
Hello.
Hello, Tony. I didn't want you to think I missed you there. We was doing the training. And welcome,
Yeah.
welcome. I'm glad that you was able to make it to the call on tonight.
Okay, thanks.
You're certainly welcome. Does anyone else have any questions? Oh. All right, Miss Patricia, I seen you
Ms. Brown,
unmuted yourself.
yeah,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
did. I think the question that I have, it has to do with the new associates that come in. If they come in on, I guess you could say the income shifting membership, and they would like to kind of sort of jump into the, I guess you can say, the water with the building side of business, like what are your suggestions for them getting onto training? Would you suggest coming into the training like with the Monday night and then the Tuesday? Because we do have the marketing aspect from Mr. June Collier that's going to be taking place tonight at 9 o'clock. Will we add that to the group as well? And then the Thursday night with Keith, our Infinity. And then don't forget our Jeopardy game with testing our knowledge from the credit repair system where people, they learn a lot of information going through that or through the website.
Certainly. All right. Everyone here is an associate, correct?
Mhm.
All right. So there's a lot of different things with that question, Miss Patricia. So let's speak of the latter part first. Um, the groups, everything that we're putting together for the team, I believe would suffice. Um, if they desire to go to Team P2P, which is Keith's calls, that's fine. I can't tell you not to. I go on his calls, so you can go on the calls as well. But oftentimes, as new associates, as you being new associate sponsors, we don't want to so much send them to other leaders because that would possibly lessen your credibility because they join you in business. Um, we do have structure, we do have leadership, we do have support throughout my econ of different associates. Um, but I don't want the new people to come on board thinking that this is what I have to do every Monday night, every Tuesday night, every Wednesday night, every Thursday night, every Friday night, every Saturday. So then it becomes overwhelming because this is what they're under the impression. Okay, all of these times, all of these scheduled meetings, all of these dates, and it could make people say, well, I didn't sign up for this. And that's what we don't want. All right. We actually want people to come on board that wants to change their financial forecast, that want to repair their credit, that want to, minimize their taxes by doing the income shifting strategy. We want people to actually use our products and services for themselves and share their testimony with their friends and family. That's the business.
Okay.
But as I said, if someone desired to go and listen to another meeting, training, presentation, hey, do it if it's going to benefit you. But I don't want to kind of implement or include a lot of outside sources because if that was the case, we wouldn't have TMT because TMT is the same structure in itself, so to speak. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we do have Mr. Keith Tucker who comes in and he puts in some additional training or just some information to assist the new associates, as well as he also puts in June Collier, who is our let me turn my camera on. You all don't judge me, okay? But he also puts in June Collier, who corporate promotes as the marketing VP with the AMS program that everybody now gets, from the income shifting membership to the elite membership. So that may be a good resource as well. Sometimes people are not I'm not as creative as people think I am. I'm a great copycat. So getting ideas sometimes to put into your repertoire of marketing content, it helps. We're not trying to
Absolutely.
reinvent the wheel, right? We're just trying to.
So may I share a piece of our phone conversation from today?
Sure.
All right. So me and Mr. Trish was having a conversation earlier. And they call us the juice, joining us in creating excitement, because that's what we do. We create excitement, we educate people, we have fun, and we make money. This is what we do. All right. So Miss Patricia made a statement and she says, well, Mr. Brown, I want to smell my roses now. I said, okay, absolutely. I agree. So she was referring to building her business. So I said, absolutely. Yes, because you're at the later days of your life. And she agreed. She said, yes,
I'm not that
over.
late now.
I know, but
Not
you
that
over the
late.
hump. You over the hump. All right.
I
You
don't
over
know
the
what
hump.
hump you're talking about.
The 30 hump. The 30 hump.
Oh, that's not over no hump.
Okay. But so yeah, we was having this conversation. And then I simply listened to her as I always do. And then I asked her, Miss Patricia, may I say something to you? She said, sure, Mr. Brown. I then said to her, if you have the rose bush, why aren't you smelling your roses? Every last one of us have that rose bush. This business is the blessing. This is the seed that God has given us. I don't want to preach now, but this is the seed that God has given us so that we could be of assistance to our friends and our family. So this could be used as a vehicle to help drive people out of poverty. This could be the vehicle to allow people to do what the Bible says, to become the
I had a question.
lender and not the borrower. All
I,
right.
I totally agree with this being a vehicle, but how do you influence other people to have the understanding of the vision that you have for it?
And that's the thing. If we take this biblically, the Bible tells each of us individually to write the vision, make it plain, so when others read it, they will take it and run with it. A lot of times, what we do as business owners is try to convince people to see our vision.
But you wanted this for them to see it for themselves, for their own vision, to
Absolutely.
use it as a vehicle to get the things that they want to accomplish.
Absolutely. And
So
you
that's,
support them.
yeah.
That's our business. You just said it in a nutshell. Not to tell you what to do, how to do it, but to give you the support and the information so that you can have ideas of your own. Let me put it like this. It wasn't Ivy that sat Keith down and said, hey, Keith, you should market your business like this. It wasn't Keith that sat Wayne down and said, Wayne, you should start a team called TMT. It wasn't Wayne sitting Miss Patricia down saying, hey, Miss Patricia, you should go on TikTok and go viral. Everything that we individually bring to the business was already inside of us. Sometimes we just need that coach to bring that thing or that person out that's already within us. So once that happened, there's a bit of unbelief, because if we haven't been taught how to do this for periods of our lives, now we coming in contact with newfound information that we may not have heard before. We challenge ourselves. We become our own biggest critic, downplaying ourselves, telling ourselves that we can't do this. Because for so many years of our lives, this is all we heard other people say. So we then become a product of our environment. So that's a good and a bad thing. The good part of being a product of your environment is once we learn how to disconnect ourselves from things that is not healthy, that is not conducive to our success, that is not bringing us any kind of an educational benefit, intellectual benefit, then some of these things we may have to personally decide to let it go. So now you hear myself, Keith, Tamiko, all of us say this. If you have 9 broke friends, I guarantee you'll be the 10th one. If you have 10 wealthy friends, 9 wealthy friends, I guarantee you will be the 10th one. So what are we saying? What we're saying is sometimes we got to rub elbows with like-minded individuals, not be, we can't be the chicken soaring with the eagles.
Right.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope that helped someone. I'm sorry, but this is what I do. I really am passionate about, helping people in any area, not just in business. You got something going on, and you're like, man, listen, I just need somebody to talk to. You might have a bad day. You might have 10 people tell you no. You might have 90 people tell you no. And it could bother you. So with TMT, we have a way of doing things where people will not tell you no. They will not flat out tell you no, guaranteed, if you follow the strategy that we're going to be teaching. However, they will make excuses. But you're going to be so inclined intellectually about finances that when they say something, you hear what they really mean. So when you tell a person $299.95 for the elite business membership, and they say, oh my God, that is an indication that they feel that's too much money. So I hear that, but that's not the truth. The truth is they don't have $299.95 to get started today. That's the truth. So it's our delivery. If I can reduce this today for you, would that help you out? Most of the time they say yes. We already know that it's $99.95 anyway. But this is how you close people. You got to show them the value. If you started out at $99.95, and a person is in a financial crisis at the moment, they still going to feel that $99.95 is too much money. If you start out with $39.95, guess what? If they in a financial situation, they still not going to come on board with a $40 investment. And it's not all the time because they don't have the money. Most of the time, it's either this. People say no because they don't know enough information. People say no, y'all should be writing this down, because they don't know enough information. Another pointer that I found out through building a successful business with my econ is that people is result driven. They want to do what other people is doing. If these people over here putting 100 people in business a day, I want to do the same thing. Oftentimes, we don't know the hardship, the failures, the processes, the protocols that was in place to make this happen. So we have to develop personally to get ourselves to that position. And I believe that everyone that's on our team is dynamic. I believe that everyone is on our team can get to CEO infinity. But I also believe that a lot of our team members is being their own biggest critic, which is not necessary, because that's what the world is there for. The world is there to tell you what they don't believe you are capable of doing, who you are, what they think you are. But if you know who you are, and if you believe in you, and you believe in the things that God has placed in your spirit, and if you believe that this is the place that God wants you to be, and these are the tools that God had for you to share this knowledge unto his people, then whatever people got to say doesn't make a hill of beans to me. Listen, I told people, I actually got this on my Facebook page somewhere. I gotta find it and I repost it. But I told people this on social media that you need to stop watching me make money and join me. Those same people watching you make money are the same people telling you that this ain't working. Does that really make sense? The same people that's coming up with excuses and reasons why network marketing don't work is the same people watching you be successful. The same people that, want to be nosy, want to see what you're involved with. They come to a meeting, they listen in. They even might sign up to make you feel good. Then they go behind your back and cancel. Right? Those are the people that has not gotten to a place in their life personally where they need the financial literacy that we have to offer. That's not your fault. It's not their fault. Sometimes things got to happen in order for people to really see what they have or what has been presented to them. We want to be proactive. We want to be ahead of the game. We want to be part of the solution, not the problem. We already know what a person's problem is because they're talking to us about it. So our job is to show them the solution. Does that make sense, ladies and gentlemen?
Absolutely.
All right. I'm sorry I had to get a little passionate. Any more questions? I hope that helped you, Miss Tony. I hope that helped all of you ladies out there, gentlemen out there. All right. Miss Team P2P, I forgot the name down there, but I did see your comment, and you're certainly welcome. And I'm glad that the information that we shared on tonight is very, very beneficial unto you as well. All right. Any more questions, feedback, comments before we close out on tonight? I believe this was a wonderful session.
I appreciate you, Mr. Brown. Thank you so much for making the W4 easier to understand, especially for people like myself, which for me, taxes was, even though this is not a tax form, it's something that I've run from. So now I'm in the process of embracing it and learning it so that I can actually help others understand it and income shift monies back into their household.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're most certainly welcome, Miss Patricia. May I have a volunteer outside of Tony and Patricia? Miss Brown.
I didn't quite sound like a volunteer, but yes, I will.
All right.
That's what we call
He
voluntold.
voluntold you.
See how they always pick with me, y'all. All right. So this is the pointer. Through the presentation of doing the income shifting with the W-4, I made an indication of what the purpose of the W-4 form was. I want you to see this for yourself because people will challenge you. All you got to do is print a copy off, put it in your purse, carry it in your wallet. When you speak with people and you challenge them, ask them, hey, the government taking too much out of your paycheck and you're not satisfied with that, are you? They were like, nah. Then you simply say this. What if I told you that it wasn't the government taking your money? Would you believe me? Everybody's going to say no, right? We haven't been taught anything different. Everybody believes it's the government taking their money. Ms. Brown, can you read this for me where it says purpose of form?
You need to share your screen.
Need to share your screen.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Look at me. There we go. And this is the 2021 W4.
You said to read the purpose of the form?
Yes, ma'am, if you would.
Okay, complete W-4 so that your employer can withhold,
Wait a minute. The who?
your employer
Okay, so if
can
any of us
withhold.
ever owned a business, we're gonna stop right there. Watch this, Miss Brown. If any of us ever owned a business, employers do not have to pay taxes for up to 3 years. True or false?
True.
All right. If you work your job and do not do what this form say, you're going to be penalized one way or another. You can either be waiting for your money, you can have too much money taken away from you, and you're not gonna be able to do what you could be doing with your own money. That employer take your money, they run it through a vehicle that's making them more money. Then they tell the IRS, hey, we took X amount of taxes last year from so and so and so and so. Then the IRS writes you a refund check. But if these people can make money with your money, why can't you make money with your money? Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
Can you continue to read for me?
Your employer can withhold correct federal income tax from your pay. If too little is withheld, you generally will owe tax when you file your tax return and may owe a penalty.
May I pause you one more time?
Mhm.
When we share this with a person, they all the time say this is a tax form, right or wrong?
Absolutely correct.
That's what they say. But if you reread that last sentence, it says, if too little is withheld, you will generally owe tax when, keyword, when you file your tax return and may owe a penalty. Therefore, this is not a tax form. It's little things like that that help you become successful in this opportunity. Why? Because you teach finances. I don't sell, I educate. Show it to them. This ain't our stuff. This is the government stuff. This is stuff that has already been there for you that apparently you didn't know. You're just getting started, Ms. Brown. With the information that you learned tonight, there's no reason why you can't go sponsor you 2, 3, 4, 5 people easily. Then you can
Agreed.
brag. Then you can brag. Get all EBM memberships. $76 times 5. Your first week in business, $380. Where did they do that at? In 1 week, in a newfound opportunity, by educating myself, teaching somebody else, and giving them the solution to their problem. Isn't that simple?
It definitely is.
That's all we do. There's no need to complicate it. This is all we do. All right. So without further ado, I appreciate every single one of you. I look forward to meeting you at the top because why TMT?
Bottom is
Bottom
way
is
too
way too
crowded.
crowded.
All right. We'll also see you at the investment firm, but most of all, at the beaches of the world. You're certainly welcome. You're certainly welcome. Good night. Good night. Good night. I look forward to great success with all of you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.